Morning, welcome back. Look on his face, Baruch Hashem, and see where we were.
If it wasn't for my cousin Ike, I would have stayed a few more days.
You mean his wedding?
At the wedding. My cousin.
That's okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Boker Tov.
Morning, Larry.
Good morning. Good morning.
Okay, relax. Wait, I could just say a little Larry. I'll get... Good morning, Larry. Let's see.
Now.
Sorry. Okay, can I bring any books to the table? You got everything. Oh, great chance.
Yaakov begins his journey and he has two missions in life. Mission one is to run away from his brother.
144.
Parashat Vayetzer. And mission number two, his parents told him to get married. The dream, page 144. Yaakov is being promised in his dream all the amazing promises that Am Israel is living by, yes, which means the bracha of Abraham was given to Yitzchak gave it to him, and here he's being promised personally. Nevertheless, when he wakes up in the morning, look a second, look on 146. Vayikatz Yaakov Mishnato, when Yaakov wakes up in the morning, Yaakov says, Achen yesh Hashem b'makom hazeh v'anochi lo yadati. He didn't realize when he went to sleep because the sun went down here. This is the place, is a holy place. V'anochi lo yadati. Look a second at the Rashi. Look at Pasuk Tetzayim, v'anochi lo yadati. The first line in Rashi, right? She'im yadati, I know yesterday when I went to sleep. She'im yadati lo yashanti b'makom kadosh kaseh. What do you mean lo yadati? You got the best blessing that every human being ever got. You know last night that you're going to get the best. Answer is this in Yaakov Avinu. It's not a man that brings Manhattan into the shul and he says it's a shul. He says that I know I would have left Manhattan, but I'll be in a shul, yeah? The makom is makom kadosh. Even though I promised on myself, my family, the future of the Jewish people, I'll be protected, but how can I sleep in this place? Yaakov is teaching us how to treat makom kadosh be'emet. I told you that.
Did he actually sleep, Rabbi?
It says it.
I don't know what. That's why I'm asking about. Did he actually sleep? I don't know my question.
Since you believe in our scroll, so look on 146 in the first line in English. And the second line, Jacob awoke from his. According to our scroll, it says he was sleeping. No? Of course, our scroll translates the text. So obviously, he was asleep. Because the dream, it says that he has a dream.
Right.
We mentioned last night that the word sulam, samach vav lamed, says the Baal HaTurim has the same numerical value as money, 136. Of course, depends on the speech of the rabbi, but what he means, money can take a man up, not up to become a trillionaire or down to the pits. Makes you selfish, holiness, obnoxious, or if you know how to use it, you become the Superman, up and down. Or of course, money goes up and down, yes? Because the word only, Ayin Vav Nun Yud is the same numerical value, everything is in Baal HaTurim. This is part of his dream and his journey. This is why later when he's praying to Hashem to give him, he's asking to ונתן לי לחם לאכול ובגד ללבוש. He's not talking about a big house or 3 or 4 homes. He's asking for the bare minimum because the rest is. But look at the real question. Let's go back to 144. As Yaakov starts his journey, he decides either he's coming back or he stops in the בית המקדש, ויקח מאבני המקום ויעשה מרעשותיו. He takes 12 stones. Last night we spoke מה זה מאבני המקום. This is from the מזבח that Avraham Avinu was building. He's in the same place where the Akedah took place. מה זה ויעשה מרעשותיו? And he's placing the stones around his head. Look at the Rashi a second. Rashi is on the bottom right. ויעשה מרעשותיו, you see, השען כמין מרזב, you read it, it's like a children's story. סביב לראשו around his head, שירא מפני חיות רעות. He has to protect himself from predators. He's alone in the wilderness. Really, the Chayot Raot are interested in your brain only. How about your body? Yaakov is basically protecting his head. How about the rest of his body? The Pasuk is saying that the stones he's taking, he's putting around his head.
He's actually traveling with no one. There's just him traveling with no. It's a little odd also.
Now, remember, it's the age of 63. And he's going with the blessing and the promises of his parents. So he's not afraid from the, but predators, this is where you put. So Yaakov is really teaching us a lesson, yes, that the double alarm that we have in our house, or if you carry a private gun, this is not what protects you. But you have to carry the gun if you feel that you need it. You do need the alarm, but you don't think seriously the alarm is protecting you. My brother-in-law once had a certain car. When the car was stolen, the thief told him, give me any car that you want within 24 hours, I'll find it to you. You can have 5 or 6 or 18 alarms.
I'll get through.
But you need the alarm anyway. You see, this is what Yaakov, we are afraid to admit. Yaakov is lying in nowhere. He's protecting his head. I have to do something. Yaakov is teaching me the rest of my body is being protected. Anyway, as you realize, he's taking few stones, and of course, the next morning he takes the stone. So everyone, this is perfect for children. This is why we remember it so well. The stones are arguing who should Yaakov put his head on, and until they decided to unite. Now, what difference does it make if it's stone A or stone 5 or stone 8 or stone 12? Says the Mesilat Yesharim, the physical world was created to serve the real people in the world. Yes, the physical world is helping others. The stone that Yaakov is going to place his head on has a much better elevation than the other stones. Everyone wants. Why are we making a bracha before you eat? Because you take the physical food and you make a bracha, you elevate it. This is a good Hasidic saying, but in real life it's a myth. If already you have a miracle here that somehow all the stones merge into one stone, why didn't they become a pillow? I mean, there's a miracle here anyway, no?
Might as well. While you're at it.
You may as well. I mean, you press a button of a miracle, do it. From a fight, pillows cannot come out of fight. התחילו לותר ראשי, התחילו מריבות זו וזו. You have an argument, but you realize it's a Dvar Torah that was created to give us a message which we know, but here you see it very clearly, yes? Now becoming one stone, Yaakov is making. Now you should know, remember those who heard it maybe last year in Chanukah, next year, but whatever it is. The Dad Zkanim B'Balei HaTosfot is saying that the cane that Yaakov is taking with him, there's oil, yes? Oil
in the cane.
How do we know that he has oil? Because in the book, in the morning, it says when he's erecting the stones, look at page
Why couldn't he
146.
just been carrying a pouch, Rabbi, around his, around a pouch?
Look at page 146. וישכם יעקב בבוקר, ויקח את האבן אשר שם מראשותיו, וישם אותה מצבה, ויצוק שמן על ראשה. On page 146, Pasuk 18 says openly that Yaakov is pouring oil. Where did the oil suddenly pop up from? Yes. Yaakov left his parents with pouches of oil. He left his parents with money, jewelry, and he was rubbed off. Where did he get it? Anyway, it says the Dad's Kenim, this is the Maletus for that he had oil stored in the cane. Now, those who like to develop on it say later the nest of the menorah and Chanukah has to do with this oil also. This is the shemen that Yaakov Avinu has. Yaakov is making a nether that if he comes back, and all the promises are being fulfilled, and the promises are not going to be affected by his behavior, Yaakov is going to offer a korban again. Remember, Yaakov, the Gemara in Megillah makes a mathematical figure that he was 40 years before he arrived. He went to the Bet Midrash of Shem Be'ever. So if he left at 63, he's now 73. Okay? Yaakov is noticing the shepherds are not removing the stone from the well. And they tell him, we have to wait till everyone is doing it. We mentioned last night the Ramban said, you have two daughters. The way children in kindergarten think is their eye is not as attractive and sexy as Rachel. Why do you send Rachel to be the shepherd? Why does he send females to be the shepherds in a jungle? Because Lavan doesn't have children. And later, when you see that Lavan has children, Lavan says to Yaakov, I know that it's because of you. The blessing is here because of you. But if you have two daughters, and the way we learn in the kindergarten before we took off our diapers, that Leah is not sent Leah. If anyone would start with the daughter, it's certainly Rachel.
She's older.
And she's older. Says the Ramban.
Well, that's why. Maybe she's older, so she's
good. Says the Ramban. Of course, Leah was beautiful. And because she's older and more developed, Lavan is afraid.
Yeah,
he kept her home.
That's why he kept her
Rachel.
home.
Rachel is young enough that even the predators, human predators, will not start with her. This is why when you ever think about it, when Lavan offers him, okay, walk for me, number 7. 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. You realize this anyway, she's very young. I have to wait till she matures. So according to the Ramban, both of them are beautiful. Rachel obviously is better than Leah. And we mentioned last night we had an eye doctor in the class. Ve'einei Leah rakot, says the Ramban, she cannot be exposed to the sun. Many of us know that if you are driving and it's sunny, you have the beginning of the cataract, make sure you wear sunglasses unless you have Ramban. This is 2 pshatim of the Ramban, yes? The Ramban says, A, she's more developed, B, she cannot be exposed to the sun so long. This is why you see clearly in the parasha that there is a hidden jealousy, rivalry between the four ladies, Rachel and Leah and Bilhah and Zilpah, who is going to have more children or who is going to have children first. Somehow they knew that this man is coming to build the house of Israel. Somehow they knew that it's number 12. So Leah is trying as much as she can, as much. By the way, yes, we said it last night, but I wanted to hear it. Ebenezer, look at the pasuk, Sammy. ויקרא אשר ראה יעקב את רחל בת לבן אחי אמו. When the shepherds told him, here, this is she is the daughter of Lavan, and the flock that you see belongs to Lavan. ויגש יעקב, page 148, 148, פסוק 10. ויגש יעקב ויגר את האבן מהפי הבאר, he removes the stone, ויש את צאן לבן אבי אמו. The Torah emphasizes he's doing it because it's my family. וישק יעקב ורחל. Remember, this I was waiting for this. So we, with our dirty mind, are looking on it. We're looking on it. Here's a girl with a bikini on the beach in there, and an old man coming and is kissing her. She is a tiny little girl. Yes, B. Ebenezer, תקשיב, אני תאהב באמת, כתוב וישק יעקב לרחל. Says the Ibn Ezra, you hear? Says the Ibn Ezra, le, תקשיב טוב, le means on the hand or here. And he brings biblical, the Ramban brings biblical rules. This is not a kiss like in our dirty mind is kissing on a mouth. Not on it. It's kissing כך אומר Ramban, זה le. And he brings a few other places in Tanakh that you see that there are two types of.
Interesting.
Yeah. No, otherwise, no one over there, she would do
So
it.
your grandpa kissing his granddaughter on her forehead.
No, but remember, especially if you're young. Anyway, the Ibn Ezra says, וישא את קולו ויק, and he starts to cry. Do you realize that this is very strange? You meet for the first time the woman that you assume you're going to marry, and you give her a kiss, and you help her and the shepherds, and you cry. Look at the Rashi.
His mother's thing came true.
Look at the Rashi. Look at the bottom right. Look at the bottom right. לפי שצפה ברוח הקודש שאינה נכנסת עמו לקבורה. Rashi is throwing in something, says he had a vision that he and she are not going to be buried. This is the time to cry. You're not married yet, and you talk about the funeral.
Oh, yeah, this is.
The answer is why is she not buried with him? But the Jewish people, when they go to exile,
Somebody.
have to pass it. He's not crying. They're not neighbors, they cannot talk on the cell phone in the grave. He's talking about, look at the end of look at the Galut. He has a vision now. Remember, Yaakov now is a trend. From the minute he's leaving his house till he comes back in 22 years, everything that happens to him is manifesting Jewish history. So Rashi means שאינה נכנסת לקבורה, not the burial site, it's the reason for the burial site. דבר אחר, second interpretation of Rashi, לפי שבא בידיים ריקות, here he is. אמר, Eliezer, עבד אבי אבא, when Eliezer went to bring my mother to marry my father, היו בידיו נזמים וצמידים ומגדנות, ואני, אין בידי כלום, it's empty-handed. Why? לפי שרדף אליפז בן עשיו במצוות אביו, Eliphaz, the older son of Esav, is chasing him, להורגו, והשיגו, and he reached him. Listen to the Rashi. לפי שגדל אליפז בחיקו של יצחק, but Eliphaz was raised under the wings of the grandfather Yitzchak, משך ידו. אמר לו, אליפז says to יעקב, מה אעשה לציווי של אבא? My father,
He told me, commanded.
אמר לו יעקב, טול מה שבידי, והעני חשוב כמוני. So this is good for a speech. Okay? The man comes and he's broke, and tell him, okay, if Eliphaz is so sophisticated that he's willing to buy this or this, the father told him to kill me, you're killing me. You're taking my money. Many people in the community believe we are dead. Yes? There's no money, especially if you had money.
Yeah.
If you really are mature enough to buy it, why don't tell him, listen good now, why don't you tell him, my dear nephew, the mitzvah to listen to your father is not when it comes to kill people. I mean, ישמע אצל הציווי שלנו. שאלה עמוקה מאוד. I mean, you see that Eliphaz is not an Italian thug that for money he would do whatever. It says, my father told me, listen carefully what the deep commentators are saying. There is one mitzvah that in the family of Esau is the highest priority, and this is Kibud Avraham.
Yeah.
If you tell him that this mitzvah doesn't apply, you are already weakening the way he looks on the mitzvah. This question, how many times people here, people in school, everywhere, they're holding on to nonsense minhagim, completely nonsense.
But it's
When
from
it
my
comes to
family,
its
my
body
father.
later, the answer is by holding on to this minhagim is what keeps you hooked. Listen to the psychology. Yaakov understands. Of course, I can tell him this is no mitzvah. Forget about it. Yaakov said, no. You have a command. You have to listen to your father. Kill me, but taking my money away. Very often, healthy to
Belittle.
to
Yeah,
to belittle, yes.
Mm.
Because the little that I had, he told me is nothing. It is nothing. This is the truth. And this nothing is connecting. The best example is Kaddish. Each one of us, Baruch Hashem, each one, if you had the experience, you know what it means to us. If you look in the halachic background, Rabbi Akiva met a wonder in Yeshua, and this became that everyone, Jews that have no connection to any, this is an example, yes? The Kaddish is the anchor. You realize if you say Kaddish, you believe that there is life after death. Otherwise, what's the point? You bury dogs and you bury people. Dog is a dog. I remember as a young kid, in Chol HaMoed Sukkot, I came to shul and I see a man that the way he was dressed. He was not from the community, and I see it. He's standing in the back and he's saying Kaddish. I was a kid, naive kid, or maybe not naive. He told me, today is Sukkot. I see you don't have
Not for me.
You're coming to shul to say Kaddish to your father, yes? Answer is Kaddish for my father. You understand what the man is telling me? I am. People don't realize.
You bump into a lot of that, Rabbi. You bump into a lot.
No, I'm using the Kaddish as an example of something that began as a very cute, I wouldn't say the word minhag, and today it's kadosh more than anything you want, right? Because deep inside, many people told me after they stopped saying Kaddish, they felt lost. No, this is it. The connection that you have to your father. But this is the point that Yaakov understood. Yaakov understood that for Esau, Kibud Avraham is a Kaddish. You understand? If you are telling his son, it doesn't apply always, this, that. If you read many stories in history, how rabbis are treating certain questions, yes, this is exactly it. You have to see where is the man coming from, what's his question.
Joel tells a story about Kaddish. You remember it? Somebody's in his last week in a hospice. He has to.
I went.
Oh yeah, you went with him.
I went with him. Dr. Orlowski, the cousin, she was a psychologist in Maimonides. She tells him a man is dying from cancer. He wants to see a rabbi before he's dying. He's asking me, would I come with him? I was scared. No, we understand. Is he going to
It's heavy, he's gonna die.
Is he going to die? Is he going to reveal an affair, robbery, murder? Okay, but you have to come. The man was in the Bay Parkway. I forgot any part of the building. He knocked on the door. The wife opens the door. It says, Joe. His name was Joe. The Joe, the rabbi. Do you want to be alone? The woman says yes. Me to say it, my heart was. Who knows what the man is going to tell you?
You don't know this guy. You never saw him.
No, the man is dying
No,
from
I
cancer
know,
and
I know.
he wants to talk to a rabbi. And he wants to be alone, your wife, let the wife to be in the room. No, not that.
What do you want? What do you say, Rabbi, to you first?
It's a part of the story. Anyway,
Build up is the whole story.
Anyway, it starts like this. I grew up in Connecticut, in a traditional home, we celebrated the holidays, and on the holidays I go to shul. Because he's saying I'm a Jew that has some connections to Judaism, and it's trying to paint a picture that more or less I'm giving money for charity. And my question to you, I'm waiting for you, why me?
Well, he's asking you about himself.
Why am I dying from
Why
cancer?
why you wanna talk to a rabbi?
No,
why is he?
No,
I'm such a good guy.
why me? I'm such a good Jew, don't you see? I come and I.
Now you've been on vacation too long, man.
This is exactly how he said it. I pick that here and I go to this. And of course we tell him, no one can tell you why. And he says, maybe. And I'm waiting now for the maybe. Maybe, Tishma. My mother died when I was a kid. And I ran 3 times a day to say Kaddish. Once, had an exciting baseball game, and I didn't go to say Kaddish. Is this the reason, really? The man, no Shabbat, no Kashrut, no this, but missing Kaddish once on his mom.
Then it says, what am I gonna tell my mom?
This is what he meant to say. He believes now that he's going to see his mom. This is
This on purpose.
so man, and this
I
is
watched
a
the baseball game. Went to a Yankee game.
Sammy, and this is 55 years after it happened. He was afraid that when he sees his mom.
Sammy, if it was a Met game, we'd go to Gehinam, Hazit.
No, but see what's. Thank you for reminding me. The story taught both of us and to us. This is what Kaddish means for people. There are certain things that we believe, and listen good. He's believing that he's going to meet his mom. And the only question he has in his life, what will I answer my mother? One thing.
Rabbi, a lot of guys, when they start saying Kaddish, they never went to shul. Some of them understand after going to shul, they start to get in the habit of going to shul. So the Kaddish does a lot for them, more for them than the Met most of the time.
We're using it as an example. Every group of people have something, an anchor that is connecting them. Something a nonsense anchor, but the importance of it is everything. Because this way you're connected to your parents, you're connected to your past. The Lebanese a kid from here, Lebanese, come to me. He knows that Chaim Ovadia, this is when he was alive. Chaim Ovadia very strong. He says, make sure that you don't say about Kiddush or whatever. He's Lebanese. Now, Be'emet, if you look, Chaim Ovadia himself, of course, brings it. The Birkei Yosef says it's fine, it's okay to say about Kiddush.
In the Kavanah.
Whatever the reason. If your grandfather told you that this is what you did in Lebanon, do it. He says he's telling him to him. But if this is your custom, apparently in Lebanon, the custom was even make it do. You say, now why did I say Be'emet you shouldn't say? The answer is
It's his anchor.
this is his anchor. It comes to me. כל אחד אמר. בטח. The Gemara says in Masechet, Shabbat. The Gemara says in Shabbat that if David is walking his dog, is coming to visit me and he's walking the dog the right way on Shabbat, I'm not permitted to give the dog a bone or it's not my thing. There is an Ashkenaz custom, a Hasidic custom here. Nathan, listen to this. There's a Hasidic custom, Shabbat, Parshat B'Shabbat. Every Hasidic, you can still see it. On Shabbat, you give a plate with crumbs to the bird.
On Shabbat?
Lo yecharat kelav l'shono.
I know, that's why I'm asking.
Lo yecharat kelav l'shono.
The reason is, you can see it in the Pasuk. Moshe Rabbeinu is telling the Jewish people, the man is not coming down on Shabbat. Take double with Erev Shabbat. It says in the text, but some people went out to look and they couldn't find. Who are the people that went out? This is Datan v'Aviram. And Datan v'Aviram heard it from Moshe. What did they do? They took some money and they doubled the Friday and they went and they spread it. This way, yeah, we found money. The birds came and ate the money. So in order to
Thank the birds.
thank the birds. Says the Magen Avraham, saying, don't take out the plate on Shabbat because the birds are not yours.
No.
Take the plate on Erev Shabbat, uncover it on Shabbat, and let the birds eat.
So by doing that, you're not feeding
As I'm teaching it in the Gemara Shabbat, I said, Magen Avraham is 350 years ago. An old man.
What's the problem?
No,
Not a
not
field.
to kill us. לא מאכיל בהמות שלא שייכות לך. טרחה, whatever it is. But this is halacha. This is halacha. Yours or chayat. Anyway, as I'm saying, because I never forget it, the old man, European Holocaust survivor, says, Abba, my grandfather used to do it on Shabbat. I remember as a kid. He said it, which means my father was near Moshe Rabbeinu.
You are wrong, Pesach.
He's near Moshe Rabbeinu. I told him, I said it in Yiddish. I said, I cannot judge your grandfather. You're learning the Gemara. I'm sure that your grandfather had this sources. For him, this was the Kaddish. You understand? If my grandfather did, especially if he's a survivor, and yes, some vague memories.
All time we say our grandfather
like
different
No,
things.
but you don't realize the value of it. And very often what you say is nonsense. Because your grandfather was the same Amaras as you are.
We had come on, Rabbi, you know my story.
I was teaching in school Chumash. You cannot use a razor. I said, look at the text. Said the Rambam says Shulchan Aruch, the kid says Rabbi.
Father shaved with a razor.
I shave with a razor. Said my father does. So I told him, listen, I don't know your background of your father.
That way you didn't tell him, keep on doing
Okay. Then I told him, like, look, you're learning with me the Chumash. And then you do the Rambam, and you open set.
Straight up and down.
Grandfather.
My grandfather used to do it.
You know,
So
his grandfather was an assistant of Moshe Rabbeinu, so if he does it, he didn't say anything.
Not
A
much
year
to say.
later, he comes to me and he says, oh, but of course you're right. I realize, but thank you for not saying it again. The answer is, Abba Shalcha Ma'aretz, V'Saba Shalcha Ma'aretz, and your grandfather. It's not one problem, the same way. Especially the early generation, people didn't have a chance to study a lot, and many of them really didn't know.
We have minhagim that are definitely against Shulchan Aruch, and we
But
keep.
no, but this is the reason. The reason.
No, halacha, we have.
No, this was the Oraita. This is Be'emet. Quietly, I told him afterwards, go ask anyone that you trust, and whatever the outcome is, don't look at your grandfather down because you don't know what. But anyway, it's important to each one. Look carefully if you know how to look into yourself. What you do, what?
It's matzeva.
No, Matzeva is, so the Gemara says later, he's asking, the Torah says openly in Parashat Yitro, V'lo takim lecha matzeva. You're not supposed to erect one stone. Yaakov Avinu is doing it. So the Gemara is asking the question. The Gemara says, since the Goyim started to practice it, we took it out of which means Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. At that time, this was not a symbol of Goyim doing it. It doesn't have to be Avodah Zarah. What?
בבית, משהו שם.
אני לא חושב, אתה מתכוון אולי בלבן,
לבן
לבן,
ושוב.
לבן.
לבן ושוב.
Anyway,
גם אותה עבודה זה
one
לא
of
לבן
the-
עם יעקב.
No, in other words, it wasn't just their private thing. People were.
Yaakov Avinu is leaving his parents now
Because
for 22 years, 14 years, 7 and 7 for each one of his wives.
Larry,
There's 8 more,
Larry's it.
8 more years until Yosef.
Yeah,
And by the end of the, you lost us, you don't hear us?
no, I hear you. I changed the network, but I'm okay. I don't know about Ike.
Okay.
8 years after the 14, he stays. And the Gemara says that for 22 years that he did not come back to his parents, Yosef was taking exactly 22 years. It's a test. The question is 14 out of the 28, of the 22, it's not his fault.
Yeah.
His parents told him, go get
He was
married.
option.
Get married, the price is 7 and 7, it's 14. You can say the 8 years. Again, guys, this is on a different level, but what you see from here is a person has an excuse. Which one of us has an excuse for many things that we do? Why don't you learn a little more? Because I'm busy. Okay, it's a man, it's not a shame. But why don't you learn an hour more on vacation? Not learning on vacation, 1 more, you remove your excuse for the rest of the year. You understand? Which means the minute Yaakov is not coming back in the 8 years because he wants to make money, he's making the deals with Laban, he takes it
Everything's off.
retroactively the 14.
It's like Yosef.
No, but
Yosef has a deep when he
The
asked twice.
Galgilim.
He lost everything
Right,
because of it.
right. Over there, there are more. See, this is a good example also. Yes. Because Yosef is asking twice, Yosef lost.
Even the 1 year freeze.
The Galgilim.
The zero.
Look a second.
It's like the ball game with the guy who's saying Kaddish, right?
Yeah.
Right, he put that first.
You know, when
The ball game over
when the first movie house came to Yerushalayim, this is like 30s, 40s. Conrad Edison, I remember as a kid. Remember, the movie, the movies then.
Documentaries.
Whatever.
Newsreel.
Anyway,
Newsreel.
some boys from Shivat Shavua used to go to Gemara. The minute they had the intermission, we heard the Divrat Torah. You have to see the movie. No, I'm Bitul Torah. I have to see what it is. You know, I have to see.
There were documentaries, there were.
No,
They coached
different.
it with the Gemara, what was going on.
The war, mostly
different,
the war.
different types.
There's a story of the Super Bowl. Statement fact, on the 50-yard line, there's a one man with an empty seat. So somebody goes to him, "It's the Super Bowl. How's the empty seat?" He says, "Well, my wife passed away, and that was her seat." He said, "Well, okay. If you don't have any family members, how come they're filling the seat?" He said, "Well, they're at the funeral."
Unfortunately, no. This is a joke, but Rabbi Feinstein used to, Rabbi Feinstein arrived in this country in the late 30s. He wants to say, which America did he meet? America that he came Lower East Side in the 30s, I'm making it up, 34. Says a man comes to him very sincere. Says, my father died, but it's the busy season.
Yeah.
This is good. Can I hire
Oh, can I have a shaliach?
He wants to open his business, but somehow it's and he continues. And if the answer is yes, am I obligated to pay Shivakov to the guy? No, but this is the joke with the funeral. He says people were so much into money, but again, Shiva for the father, how can you not teach Shiva? Think about it. Look a second. Guys, what did it mean? Look a second here. Vatar, look at page 152. Leah somehow is having children, one after the other, 4-year-old. ותקרא את שמו ראובן, כי אמרה כי ראה השם בעודי, כי עתה יאהבה לאישי. Remember, you learn as a kindergarten kid is Rachel is very pretty. Yeah. The Ramban explains, Yaakov couldn't understand how Leah can do it. Yaakov looks on him as if she tricked me
Yeah.
on purpose. She's very motivated. She wanted to be married to me. So otherwise, the word "snua" hated doesn't apply.
Yes.
You hate someone for doing something terrible. Yes? You can't say "snua" because she's not as pretty. Okay, so she names him Reuven. The next one, look at the next one. Vatar, the second one, Vatar, what Vatelet ben Vatomer, כי שמע השם כי שנואה אנוכי. מה זה כי שמע השם כי שנואה אנוכי? It says only Hashem, we are afraid to read the text like this. מה זה כי שמע Hashem? Says the Ramban, I mean others are saying it. Externally it didn't look. It didn't look. It is treating Leah different than
In
Rachel.
fear.
But כי שמע Hashem, a woman has
Intuition.
special intuition to feel it. Third one, הפעם ילווה אישי עליי. I have already
More than a share, at least.
No.
More
Listen
than
now.
She only has two hands.
listened to פסוק ל"ה, ותר הוד ותלת בן, ותאמר הפעם אודה את השם. על כן קרא שמו יהודה. The Gemara says in Brachot, it's my statement the Gemara is got to say, מעולם means neither Abraham nor Yitzchak, nor Yaakov, מעולם, no one ever thanked Hashem until Yaakov.
Oh,
Abraham never said thank you, Yitzchak never said thank you, Yaakov. Each one of us is saying it. The difference is, we say thank you when it happened. We say thank you a week after. A month. She names the baby Yehuda. Every time I see the baby, I remember what he was for me. Every time I see the baby, I remember Apam Odet Hashem. Think about it.
Rabbi
Okay.
Hillel wrote a book,
What,
about
what?
Kaddish, Rabbi Hillel.
Yeah.
And in this book, he states that there is an inyan, not that we do it, that they say Kaddish the whole life. People say Kaddish, they don't stop saying Kaddish.
I mean, Yaakov, I think, continues to say Kaddish. I think he's saying.
He says, he says for
Says it for people.
For people? Oh, I thought he said-
Doesn't go
No,
deep
no,
as
he didn't go
that,
deep.
no.
Oh, yeah.
It's in the book, I think that the.
Mal calls a ruckus, Larry.
I'm sorry,
To me,
Mal called the ruckus. He-
oh no, basically, he said that the real answer is,
No. He used to say.
Somebody again. Yeah.
the real
Nero
answer
something,
is
Nero
if the
something.
Kaddish is a Kaddish, say it twice in your life. Most of the Kaddish that we say is only lip service. I had a fellow in my shul that met his father was very special. He was the only child of two daughters. I sat with him doing Shiva next to him. He started to cry. He said, I never knew this is what Kaddish is about. If the Kaddish that you say is a real Kaddish, say it in your life. In the Ashkenaz community, not Hasidic, Hasidic is like you, say as many as you can. You try to minimize the Kaddish that you say. You know why? Because it's such a powerful tefillah that you say without Kavanah. Loses its meaning. You said you should minimize.
Don't rush to say Kaddish.
And this is the
Only
reason.
say
Say
that you're disturbing the
say whatever you have to say, but don't rush. And the reason is again, it's so powerful that if you are not, you're losing it. Yes. No, he's saying. I mean, let's say that some people are.
Rabbi Hillel wrote in his book, to the Belderici book, they did it on whatever.
Anyway,
What they don't.
look carefully. Rachel, Vatikane Rachel Ba'achota. We know it. She comes to Yaakov. Hava Ribani, Ima Ivet Anu. Rachel, this is the relative of the husband. This is what Hasidic masters are saying. Hasidic masters are saying, this is always out, it's amazing what they say. They say, she understood that Leah had 6 kids up to date because she was hated. She wants to be hated now by Rachel. She figures maybe I will have children with her.
Yeah.
Yes? Can you imagine? She comes to Yaakov worked for her 7 years. It says in the Midrash that he sent a gift from time to time. And the father made sure that the gifts are going to Leah. And this is the language you speak? And so she wants Yaakov to not to like it so much, perhaps.
Maybe she'll
Perhaps.
gain.
Why did Sarah give Hagar? Can you imagine you're married to a man 60 years, and you're taking a substitute and you're making it a wife? This pain, this sacrifice that I'm doing on behalf of a human being, happens to my husband, might be the zechut, yes? Yeah, she starts to look into herself. There's a reason why my sister had 6 by now.
Why would simply Sarah, the pain of you giving a tzara, so there's a zechut simply in just
The pain
of it?
The pain of doing the favor to a Jew. The Jew happens to be Abraham. What do you think Abraham felt over the years, no children? She wants so much a husband to have a child that she's willing to bring a competition. The younger woman. This is exactly what do you think happens when Zilpah brings, when Leah brings Zilpah to Yaakov? It's exactly the same. You have to be crazy. You have to bring a second wife to your husband. The answer is because I know how much what children meant to you.
Yeah.
Now look a second. We read and read. If you read any way you look at it, especially if you teach teenagers, what did Rachel really do the way? She has to be crazy. As far as she knows, Yaakov will never marry her. Yaakov might find out and kick her out. No. Somehow she decides that I cannot take the fact that publicly my sister is going to be married. I'm giving up. Basically, she gave up her future. Let's examine.
Did she have the right to do that, by the way?
In a second,
She had the right to do it.
so just wait a second. Look a second. Look at page 156.
163.
156. 156.
Look at Pasuk Chavet. Pasuk Chavet, you see, Vayizkor Elokim et Rachel. Hashem forgot about Rachel. Every time Vayizkor means you did something extra. Pasuk 22. Pasuk 22. Vayizkor Elokim, Hashem remembers. What did he remember? Look at the Rashi, please. Vayizkor Elokim et Rachel. Zachar la shemasra simanei alaachota. 6 years ago, what we thought was a suicide chesed was the best investment she ever did in her life. Rachel, what is that? Hashem remembers the extraordinary sacrifice that she did for her sister, which means the only reason she becomes a mom now is herself is because of that. Very often in life, we have opportunities to do something, but it's really big. Am I obligated? So you asked before, is she obligated? Was she right? The only reason she has herself is because she did it. Which means she didn't think twice. But the question is, if this act of chesed is so big, why did she have to wait 6 years? Each one of us in life, sometimes you hear an inspiring speech. You walk out, in flames. That moment.
Yeah.
Did you really change? No. But for the moment, how do we know that when Rachel did what she did, she really did because she was met good and caring? Maybe it was a spell of a moment. So look at page 156, baby. Look there, just a רגע פסוק 156. Look a second. Reuven found helpful Judaim. Rachel is begging, can you share it with me? Share it. Look at the pasuk, Sammy.
You down?
Share it, give it.
Look, here, look a second. So look a second in 154. Look at 154, male at the bottom, 2 lines in the bottom. ותאמר רחל אליה, תנו נינה לי מדוד האש. She didn't say, give me there, give me some off. ותאמר לה says to Rachel, המעט קחתך את אישי, they're taking my husband away. It says in the text, I read it to you in the text, before the hard score, they took it from the text.
Why?
תקשיב, רחל, לאה says to her, it's not enough if you took my husband, you want to take the... Rachel should have said, I took your husband, I gave you.
And Rabbi, Leah didn't know that? Of course she knew.
She's
Stay
quiet.
quiet.
This is the sign that Rachel did it because she really cares for her sister.
She's not gonna even.
She doesn't want.
Years.
Not gonna stick it down.
6 years later.
Which means that right after it says that she
That's
becomes
actually how you
pregnant.
score. From that.
Which means
Rabbi, if she would have answered her, she would have lost her zechut of what she did.
that
was the test.
this
That
is
was
the
the
point.
test.
It's a test. How you doing
Yeah.
it because you're really good.
But Rabbi, let's ask the question on Leah. Didn't she knows what she did for her? How could she be so
The
cruel about it?
real great commentators, the real great say that Rachel did it so wisely that Leah didn't even
Didn't even know.
realize.
You know,
At all.
And she basically is trying to sell it to her. It's really you first. Remember, every
Ah,
bouquet
she
of
convinced
flowers
her. She
that
convinced her.
Yaakov spent for 7 years. Lavan made sure
Ah.
it goes to Leah. Yes.
Yeah, but she convinced her.
You. You're getting gifts.
So you think that a grave Leah never.
Many commentators.
like that.
Many commentators say that she wanted them to feel so
Wow.
pain,
Wow.
but she never
Shabbat,
cared about it.
Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom.